Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am so happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for you. I'm happy and grateful that I have another day to right my wrongs. I am happy and grateful for life today. I don't take days for granted, as I tell you all the time. I firmly believe that if we could get to a place where we are happy and grateful just for our days, we will be happy and grateful for one another. We will learn how to take everything that comes into our day in a different place and a different perspective. We'll understand that every day that we're given, it is a gift. And because of that, every day, our cup is always half full, never half empty. I tell you guys all the time, we are healthy, we are wealthy, we are prosperous. Everything our hands go to touch, it must prosper and grow because it is who we are. It is our DNA. It is who we've been created to be. So anytime you're in a place where things are not prospering and they're not growing, you got to just take a minute to fall back, okay? Don't look at the situation, but be willing to look at you. Understand the part that you play so that you can ask for forgiveness if needed and get up and move forward, okay? There is nothing in our days that can defeat us but us, all right? Don't forget that. So we're going to start with our self-confidence formula. And let me go over here. Again, we should be saying our self-confidence formula to ourselves every day, all right? Where do we find the self-confidence formula? It's in the 3rd chapter of Think and Grow Rich. It's in the chapter of faith. It is who and what I believe we will accomplish as long as we keep focused and in the right direction of what we're supposed to be doing, okay? So I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. The dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture. I know through the theory of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek some expression through some practical means of obtaining the object or position I desire. I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim, and I will never stop trying until I develop sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. I realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. I will engage in no transaction that will not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces that I wish to use and the cooperations of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve them. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, for I know that a negative attitude towards others will never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and myself, okay? This thing is powerful. We gotta believe it though. And it's funny, well, it's not funny, but today as I was thinking about what to share this morning, I had a few things on my mind over the weekend, but it took me back, okay? And for those of you all who have not yet, go to my YouTube channel. I am Nicole D. Jones. Put it in like a sentence, so space between each word. And I've created a playlist, okay? So you don't have to look at the other videos. Go to the Nikki Nuggets morning mindset calls. So all this weekend, I've kind of just been, just as I go through my own process of the self-confidence formula, just as I go through my own, process of being me unapologetically, through a posture of humility and submission. Just as I'm going through my own things, I began to go back to the playlist. And the reason why I say go visit it is because I want to make sure that we are building, okay? In order to achieve the self-confidence formula, in order to be the best you, in order to accomplish whatever you're setting out to do, we got to remember faith without works is dead, okay? So we can have faith to say this every day. We can have faith to speak it, but if your words are hollow, it's not going to prosper and grow. And we already know that's not who we are. We're created to prosper and grow, but we have to understand that there's work. So I went back to the playlist, okay? And I put it in order. So if you go in, the top one is the first one. We talked about the self-confidence formula, and then we broke down each point. Then, so go back, listen to it, however many times you need to, get it in your spirit, okay? So then we did affirmations. And I'm doing it in this order because I want you to understand that in everything we do, there's a process, okay? So we're doing the self-confidence formula. Like I said, we're doing the brain dump at night so that we can rest peacefully. We take the list that we made the next morning. That's how you create your to-do list, okay? So we talked about affirmations. Then we talked about your environment, just keeping your environment safe. Who are you around? What are you listening to? Who do you allow in your personal space? Make sure you keep it in a safe place. So we talked about our environment, okay? Then we talked about our perspective to help us while fulfilling the self-confidence formula. You got to keep the right perspective, okay? You got to forgive. You got to forgive. Your heart posture has to be in the right place in order for anything to work, okay? You can't move in a spirit of manipulation. You can't move in a spirit of pride or arrogance and expect blessings. You can't expect benefit. You can't expect these things. So we got to make sure that we forgive. We got to make sure our heart is right, okay? So then in forgiveness, we went back to perspective. So we dealt with the heart. It's matters of the heart to get our perspective back in line, okay? Then we have to become people free. We can't be bound by what people think about us, all right? We got to be in a place where we are learning to be confident in ourselves. It's the self-confidence formula. But we can become more confident as we're walking these things out, okay? Because we're becoming better us's. I'm becoming a better me. You're becoming a better you by everything that we're doing consistent, okay? Repetitious brings consistency, all right? So then after we talked about being people free, you got to dream again. See? So in this process, now we're freeing ourselves up, all right? Change, bondage, things that have us, subjected to not succeeding. We're just walking it out on how to be free of these things, all right? So then I said, dream again. Those things, those ideas, those thoughts, the visions that you have of what you're going to fulfill when you were little, like bring that stuff back up. What made your dreams die? What made you put them in the back seat? All right? Is it life? Is it this journey? Because we remember, this is a fixed fight. We've already won, okay? This journey, we've already won. That's why it's so important to be in line with the heartbeat of Jehovah God. It is important. Our footsteps, our days have already been predestined, and we're winners. So we cannot abort the process. We got to trust it day to day, okay? Man, so then dream again. Once we get to that place, we got to have self-discipline, all right? We got to have self-discipline. The you that you want is right on the other side of your self-discipline, all right? So we got to learn how to control ourselves. We can't just be emotional reactors all the time. You got to learn how to think the next thought, which is why we're clearing our mind, okay? You can't be so emotional that everything you do, because check this out. when we walk in emotions, we always got to go back and clean it up. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I got tired of cleaning up unnecessary drama. I got tired of it. I got tired of popping off and then feeling all guilty and feeling bad and having to go back and right my wrongs. Listen, I've had to learn how to think the next thought. I've had to learn to keep my eyes on me. I've had to learn to just kind of be in a place where, this is why you've got to know your safe places. This is why you have to know who's in your life for the season that you're in. All right? Everybody's words should not be able to move you off of your goal. Y'all chew on that for a minute. That everybody should not be that important. They should not. Anyone who can move you out of what you're doing have control of you. All right? So then we had to remember who we are. So reminder of the affirmations. You are worthy. You are needed. You are loved. You are the solution, never the problem. Okay? You are everything that you so desire to be that is positive. You're beautiful. All right? We got to stop letting people's perspective and perception of us mess up what we are. And we can walk in confidence in that because we're not doing it in arrogance and pride, but we're truly moving in a place of humility and submission. All right? Now, all right. So then we had to focus. We had to learn how to focus. We had to learn how to remove distractions. We're learning how to, it's not past tense, it's current tense, all right? We are learning. We're learning how to stay focused. We're learning the power of making a decision. That was the last call, okay? It was the power of making decision, okay? So then with that, we're learning that once you have a made up mind on something, think about it, right or wrong. Your mind made up, nobody can move you, all right? Nobody, because your mind is made up. But we got to learn how to make our mind up on the right things. We got to learn how to make up our mind on the things that are going to help us prosper and grow, all right? So now today, and I'm like, man, because we're building, right? We're taking all these things, we're walking them out. The last thing I want anyone to feel is overwhelmed, because that's a whole lot, man. There's 17 videos on here. On this playlist is 17 videos. And out of the 17 videos, now 5 of them, we're breaking these things down, or one of them. Okay, so at least 11 of them are instructions. They're instructions, okay? But what I want us to understand today is it's needed in order for us to keep priority. So what are we adding on? Priorities. We got to be able to have priorities. So if you think about it, hopefully everybody on here does a budget. Because all of us got money some kind of way. If it's consistent money, if it's fixed money, if it's spur of the moment money, we all have revenue, okay? Because the way that the world is set up, revenue is needed, all right? So now, you should be budgeting what you have. If you never budget, if you never write stuff out, if you never prioritize, because sometimes your money ain't as long as your bills. Your money's not as long as your lifestyle. Your money's not as long as your necessity, okay? So what do? Every month, you should write down what you need to do. And then when you have it out, write the vision, make it plain, okay? That's not just for goals. This is day to day, whatever you're doing in your days, which is why it's important to have to-do lists. But you write everything out so that you can see it. And then you take what you have through your brain dump and you begin to prioritize. If I have $1,000, the first thing I need to be paying are my needs, not my wants. So we got to prioritize, okay? I need to pay the rent, or else the things I'm going to get that make me feel good or look good, I ain't gonna have nowhere to put them. Priority, all right? So as we're going through this, even with ourselves, you got to learn to prioritize yourself. What is needed right now where you are and what is wanted, okay? Now, I use the example of money because we can all relate to it. We can all relate to it. But as we're going through this and we're learning to peel our own layers back, what you see is not always pretty, okay? Most of the time, it's ugly. Now, if every day you looking at yourself and nothing's wrong with you, something's wrong. Because in order for you to get better, you got to deal with the things that are at a lack, okay? So even with that, because you got to remember, everything is mindset. If you write a dirty laundry list about yourself, you still got to prioritize it, okay? Or you will get overwhelmed, which could lead you to a path that is not fruitful, all right? It'll lead you to a path where you'll begin to feel like, oh my God, I can never accomplish. Never say never. You're always accomplishing. Every day that we get up and move, we are stepping closer to our goal. We never fail. We're always winning, okay? I don't care what goes wrong in your day, you're winning. Why? Because you're taking the initiative to move forward so that you're a winner already, all right? We just can't get comfortable and complacent in baby steps, all right? We got to learn, we're practicing to learn how to stride, to have that stride, okay? So both ways, because everything is mindset, all right? You get comfortable too soon, you get lazy, you procrastinate. You give up too soon, you feel defeated. This is a process, y'all, which is why I kind of wanted to break it down to show you we're building, okay? So some may look at it like we're building up. Some may look at it like we're building out. Whatever works, just know that you're moving in the right direction. And in order to continue to move that way, we gotta bring priority, all right? You might be dealing with more than one thing, all right? You might be dealing, your mouth, you might be snappy. You might be mean a little bit, all right? You might get to talking and popping off with people and don't nobody want to talk to you because you always snapping off, all right? That may be something you need to work on. But even before we can get that right, we need to figure out why you popping off. This is what I mean by priority, okay? We got to get to a place where we are learning how to even prioritize ourselves through this walk. Because we all got stuff we need to work on, all right? But you got to start to get into a place where you can look at the whole picture, where you can do it in the right order. Because sometimes we will begin to deal with things on the surface and it's just putting a Band-Aid on it, which is why the growth is not consistent, okay? The growth will begin to stop because it's like we're not dealing with the core of what's wrong, all right? So as we're building our self-confidence, we got to be okay with seeing that. I just told someone yesterday, because I noticed that something is repetitious. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I see that it's a hindering thing. So then I was like, we got to kind of talk this out. Because what is it that you feel makes you get here or makes you go to this place? Because her first response was, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, let's take it back. And we just kind of, through probing questions, figured out where the core of it is. And like I said to her, I don't have the answer, but sometimes we just need to get stuff out, y'all. We need to get it out so that we're aware, so that we can start the process of prioritizing how to heal from that place. Okay? Because when you go through the process of healing, it'll show. All right? So as the process of you getting healthier comes, your snappiness will start going down because you won't be so defensive. A lot of times people who are like that, they're not mean people. They're not nasty. They're not ugly. They're not trying to be, but they're wounded. So unconsciously, they're defensive. So as soon as something feels like it might hurt them, they immediately, well, let me bite. Let me clap back. I ain't even clapped yet. Like, you leaping and I ain't even froggy. Okay? Like, what's going on? But the reality is sometimes we do stuff and we don't even know. Okay? So as we're going through this, I want you to be able to, when you're walking out these different steps, do a to-do list for you. I'm be honest with y'all. I'm probably too transparent sometimes, but I honestly have a to-do list for Nicole. So people in my safe place that have pointed things out to me, I'm very intentional. Some things on my list are a year old because I know that I have not fully completed or conquered this place in me. Okay. I've told y'all very honestly before, I'm moody. All right. I can be moody. I'm not gonna say I'm moody. I'm not gonna claim that. But because I can be a very emotional person, and because there's been hurt there, I mean, like, something can happen and I gotta literally catch myself. I gotta catch my attitude because it'll like scratch the surface of something. But because I'm mind conscious of it, I now am aware when it happens. Now, I don't always catch it in time, but I can tell you very honestly, today, February 15, 2021, I'm not where I was before. Okay? Everything's a process, y'all. We gotta stop having the microwave fix mentality, especially when it comes to your success, when it comes to your journey. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I want my journey to last. Now, I don't know if I want it to last to 100 years, but I take at least 80, 85. Okay? I don't want a quick fix on my journey and my days. I don't want the microwave fix. So you gotta be okay to understand that in this journey, it's a process. And every day we're just striving to be healthier, wealthier, and more prosperous. Because we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're prosperous. We are created. We're created to reproduce. We have dominion over all things. But what you have to remember is each one of us have our individual dominion. All right? The world is big enough. None of us gotta feel like we gotta pull on anyone else's. You worry about you. You focus on being the best you that you know how to be, and your blessings overflow. All right? This is why I keep telling y'all, it's the journey that is the blessing. Once we reach the goal, that's the overflow. So whatever it is that you're trying to get to, whatever it is that your vision is, if your vision is one of mine is to be, I say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am worth $100,000 in liquidity. I want to be, every time you come by me, I got at least 100,000 cash that I can do whatever I want to do with. That doesn't include my assets. That doesn't include anything else. That's just the bottom feeder for me. All right? But what I've understood is that the blessing is getting there. Once I get there, that's the overflow. Okay? Once I get there, that's when I can let it can spread out. It can overflow into you. We got to keep our perspective right. Okay? We have to keep our perspective right. If we can keep our perspective right, we can take every one of these steps I tell you all the time. Sorry. I don't take days. Y'all get tired of hearing my voice. It's so funny. I went through it. I'm like, Lord, did I get tired of it? Anyway, but where we can get to a place where we go through that whole playlist and we're okay doing it repetitiously. All right? Repetitiously. I'm telling you, I know I'm the one that's just a vessel that's doing the calls. But even when I go back, sometimes while I'm talking to you all, it's like the thoughts are coming. They're coming so fast that I feel like my mouth can't keep up with them. So when I go back and listen to them, I'm like, man, like, I promise y'all, I'm not telling you anything that I am not doing. I go back with a notebook because every time I go back and listen, I get something else. Okay? Anytime you're plugged into something that's going to help you, it's like a river of flowing water. All right? It never dies. Every time you go back, you'll get more. Every time you go back, you'll get more, which is why we got to be careful of the things that we're listening to, the things that we're watching. You got to guard your gates. All right? You got to guard them because every time you go back to it, you're going to get more. Don't forget that. So I want to add on today. We're going to prioritize, all right? As we're going through our self-confidence formula, as we are becoming the best us's, like I said, that we can be, we're going to continue to repetitively, continuously walk these things out so that the things that need to shed off of us will, and they'll be replaced with the things that'll keep us to our overflow. Everything that you're doing, it is just to be a better you, okay? So keep your mind in the right place, keep your motive pure, keep all your intentions good, because everything that you do is gonna boomerang back to you. So it's important. And remember, this is the only place that the battlefield is, all right? That's why we gotta guard our thoughts, and we gotta be careful with what comes out of our mouth. That's why we can't move in emotion. Emotion will have you spitting stuff out of your mouth, and now you don't put it out there, and it's coming back to you. Okay? When you really look at it, all of these are just building blocks, because that's where the self-control come in, the self-discipline, all of that. It is for you. So, again, I am Nicole D. Jones. Thank you for keeping me accountable. I thank you for walking this journey out with me. I thank you that there is an expectancy from me and you for us to continue to be the best that we can be. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. It just overwhelms me because I don't know about you, but I believe every person plugged in, everything that we are willing to continuously do, we're going to obtain it and more. It's going to be more than we can even think or imagine. Okay? So set your standards high. All right? Set your bars high. Dream again. Stir up what's in you and be unapologetic about going after it, because you're going after it humble and submitted, not looking for personal gain, but to be able to be that river that'll overflow into someone else. All right? Continue to stay healthy, continue to stay wealthy, continue to stay prosperous, and have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.